go.
I tried to cover my shine. I tried staying in the lines.
Welcome to Getting Connected. My name is Good News, and this is our Youth Awakening Initiative. And we have men and women of God who will be answering some questions youth today are asking. And today with us, we have Prophet George, who will be answering the questions of people whose interests are taking them away from God. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alvin George Johnson. I'm the founder and president of A.J. Johnson Ministries and also a senior pastor of God's Embassy Leaf, call it the Prophetic City. And today I'll be talking about interest that takes people from God, away from God. Some interest of the youth takes people away from God. And I'm going to be talking about some of the interest that takes our attention and takes it away from the love of God and God. And what I'm going to be talking about is, when I was a kid, probably 17 or 18, I used to have this question. I saw my grandma and she was so enthusiastic and vibrant and always going to church and reading her Bible. I was so amazed. I was like, wow, will I be able to do that? Because for me, it's hard. I actually saw it as something that is very hard because the ease with which she loves God and does the things of God. So I told myself that probably it's not possible. Why? Because why would I even want to go to church? Why would I even want to have time and pray? Why would I even want to take the Bible and read? Because this era, this time and season we are in as a youth, it is very hard. So I was actually wondering why it's so easy for my grandma to be able to do all these things. And I told myself that maybe some of the things that is pulling me away and not giving me the chance to be able to do what she's doing is one, relationship. Because probably in her time, maybe she was involved with relationship and stuff, but the interest has gone away. Because when you read Ecclesiastes 3, it teaches that we have there's time for everything and every season. There's every season to everything under heaven. So sometimes you might be interested in doing something, but the interest will go away. You find no pleasure in such things. But probably she found no pleasure in such things and she was saved at a specific time. So am I also going to say that my interests are going to change with time over here? Maybe I might not also be lucky like the way she was lucky. And why am I saying that? Because Exodus chapter 3, the verse says that there is time to search and there is time to give up. We are searching for a lot of things, but we have to have time that we stop and pause and reflect on the things that we do. So I talk to myself that probably it's because of the relationships. That's my first point. An interest in relationship will take us away from God. Because like I said, not just relationship with someone you love as a girlfriend or boyfriend, but also relationship with friends can also take your attention and interest away from God. Let's just say you want to have a quiet time with God and your girlfriend is calling you, let's go here. Sometimes our friends even tend to crave us from love of God. I can remember a friend of mine, he came into contact with God, he was so vibrant and now reading the word of God, so vibrant in church and started putting stuff on Facebook. And the same friends, his peers, they're telling him that, why are you doing this thing? It's lame. So the pressure from the friends, just pull them away. So the first interest is those of us who are very much interested in relationship. The pressure from our boyfriends and girlfriends tends to pull us away from the love of God because it gets a lot of attention. And I don't blame us because even Adam chose relationship with God because God told him not to eat of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, but yet Eve convinced him and he ate of it. So relationship, like I said, can also take us away from God and interest away from God. And also, second thing is fun. The love for fun, going to enjoying ourselves, because even Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 9 makes me understand that as a young man or as a youth, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to enjoy yourself as a youth, go after what your heart desires and go after what you see. But in the last verse makes me understand that, remember, but there is a judgment. There is a judgment to everything that you do, and in this end times, it's also written in the end time that some things will become so acceptable that even when you do that, it's so acceptable in this our society that even when you do, you don't see anything wrong with doing that, but because of the fun. But remember that there's always going to be a judgment, and the Bible makes us understand that we should remember our Creator in our youthful days. It's very, very, very important, because so that we don't have to remember our Creator when we are in those troubled times. So some of the interest that pulls us away is a lot of fun because of the fact that it's acceptable, and some of the things also that pulls us away from God is also, like I would say, I've already talked about relationship as a factor, as an interest. Those of us who are also very interested in relationship can pull us away from God, and those of us who also like fun and not calm, and let me just have fun, let me just do everything I have to do because I'm a youth. That interest in smoking, interest in having fun, interest in just drinking, all these little things pull us away from the love of God, because we would rather do that than actually go to church and spend time with Him, because we actually see church as very boring. So this fun, let me just live my life, is also the thing that pulls us away from God. And always remember that there's also judgment at the end as well. And one thing too that the youth, as youth, you are very interested in is actually sex. You know, it's because of the hype of this social media. It has become, you know, when you watch the media has given us access to some cultures. You know, we could get to see so many things that are all around the world. So things that are acceptable in other countries, other culture, we also tend to pick them up, and we think it's natural with it. You know, love for sex is an interest can pull us away from God, because it makes us feel so unworthy. It makes us feel so unworthy, even to go to church, even to say a prayer, because you feel like you are a sinner or something. But there's one thing I want to point out there. You know, sex is not something that you should use as a tool to feel yourself as unworthy. See, God has already paid for that price. He will always accept us. Sex doesn't take you away from the grace of God. It doesn't. It does not. I want to emphasize on that. Those of us who are feeling so unworthy, and because sex is an interest that is pulling you away from God. You know, sex is yes an interest, because when you love it so much, it becomes an interest that you rather pick over getting the relationship with God. So as time goes on and that becomes an interest for you, it tends to pull you away from God, because you tend to feel unworthy. I want to tell you on the unworthiness. I want you to understand that sex is not something that you should feel unworthy about, because you don't lose your grace when you have sex. That's what I want you to say. You do not lose the grace when you have sex. For you to lose your grace, for you to really lose your grace, you must turn your back on God and actually tend to sin. You know, you turn your back on God, and then you actually enter in the sin. And even when you turn back to Him with a guilty heart, and you think He will accept you back. For you to really lose your grace is not just, you know, having sex. Oh my God, I can't control myself. I have the desire of lust. So because of that, I'm feeling so unworthy. Do not repeat. Do not let that. Because as I understand, we are all being led astray, but the blood has accepted all of us back. So like I made mention, one, relationship is an interest of holding with God, because we tend to put our head of our relationship with God. And also fun. We want to really enjoy ourselves. We feel church really very boring. We feel like we don't get to be ourselves when we are in church. And even so, the church folks are going to be judgmental on us. So the interest in, because they feel like the fun that we get out there, we're not going to get it in the church or with God. So they tend to pull us away. And also the third thing is, and the desire, because as a youth, we are so, you know, drawn to sex because of the social media and overemphasized. That also leads us into those situations. So what I want to say is that if you're into this, if you're having this, as you should listen, and you're into this situation, you feel like this is drawing you away from God, your relationship is drawing you away from God, the fact that you like to have fun so much is pulling you away from God, and you don't feel like you get the same fun in the heart of God, you don't feel acceptable there, and you also feel like sexual desire is pulling you away from God, it makes you feel unworthy. I want you to understand that God is ever ready to stretch out His hands to back. You will never lose His grace. His grace is so sufficient upon your life. Don't feel like the sexual sin is pulling you away from God and you are not worthy. You are not worthy. And then don't place relationship ahead, your boyfriend or girlfriend ahead of God, because the love that your boyfriend or girlfriend is going to give you is nowhere near the love that God is going to show to you. God loves you and He's opening His arm to you. Accept Him and go back to Him. The end is near. The end is near. And I want you to go to God. Let's run to Jesus. And don't let this interest of this youth of nowadays to pull us away from God. Thank you so much. And God bless you.
So if you liked our videos, please do share our videos, like our page on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.